There's a constitution which was written with our president being a key drafter of that particular constitution. That constitution was supported by the two parties at that particular time. It was taken to the country through a consultative process, the most extensive and intensive consultation process, a COPAC. The final document came out. It was adopted by the two parties, and then there was a referendum about the constitution, and the Parliament of Zimbabwe passed that particular constitution. It is the operative document of the present Zimbabwe government, of which President Mnangagwa is the president. So he was involved at each and every stage of the drafting of this document. His mandate in 2023 was based on this particular constitution. And as a constitutionalist, he is true to that document. And he has made it plain that he will be true to that document. That's what the president is saying. Otherwise, he departs from the constitution. And being a lawyer and a constitutionalist and a revolutionary, it would not be proper. Probably with the propriety that he was one of the key drafters. So that's his position, and that is also the constitutional position. But that is it may, there are others from outside of the party who have their own agendas, who want to determine the course of which ZANU-PF should take. And if there's one thing which angers, which arouses the instincts of ZANU-PF, which really makes ZANU-PF starts having its feelers tweaked, its ears tweaked. Like there is a insect to start doing when there is an impending earthquake. It is the prospect of outside interference within the affairs of ZANU-PF and within the party. Ukadaro ZANU-PF, because you see, this is a party which lost so many people to be where it is today. It charted its own path. So it is very, very, very jealous of its independence and autonomy. So when some things begin to happen from outside of the party, it naturally revokes or invokes a reaction. As Einstein says, every action has got a reaction. So the people begin to say, this is what is going on, the people of the party. And then they say, maybe they want to look at instability in the leadership of the party. Then the people take refuge in the stability which they know and the performance which they know. These are the people, the membership of ZANU-PF. They are taking refuge in the leadership, the tried and tested leadership which they've seen delivering all the things which I was referring to the area on. They are protecting their sense of identity and the aspirations which they see being delivered of Zimbabwe becoming a prosperous country. So it's a debate. It's a debate. Some people, I was in Beijing, some people also, one lady spoke, tried to raise the issue. And the president was emphatic, I live by the document of the Zimbabwe Constitution. That's what the president says. I hope it answers you. But that as it may, it will be and ZANU-PF like, and it is not within ZANU-PF to say we should massively debate. No, let the ideas flower within ZANU-PF. And then eventually the president and the party will look at what is the best for Zimbabwe. Remember, by the way, when I spoke about the president and the West, I just want to give a brief perspective, because this is very important in this debate. You can imagine the trepidation, if consternation of our allies during the struggle, the major allies who were giving us weapons in Beijing and Moscow, Russia, at that time, Soviet Union. When we decided at Lancaster that we were going to go for the election for our transition to independence, the revolutionary parties before, they've just simply taken over power by revolution never by election. But our president was central to that decision. He was one of the chief legal minds at Lancaster to say we accept the democratic process to be the arbiter of who is going to rule in Zimbabwe. We may have won the battlefield by bullet, but we will not win the political office in Harare by bullet. We will win it by ballot. Our president was part of that decision. Afterwards, he built an army. Remember, we built an army from two liberation, three arms and two, of which two were liberation movement. He was the chairman of the defense committee at that particular time for the integration of the army. And a decision was made that Zimbabwe was going to use professional Western standards for our army. He was the part to that decision, our president. He is not somebody who can be branded as having any other interest as what is good for Zimbabwe. So for the Western countries who later tried to sanction him for being anti-West, they are not looking at some of these aspects of our history. We made decisions to buy armaments. Our Air Force was equipped with Western weapons initially. Even when there was sabotage of our Air Force, Kugweru, you don't know that, by the former Rhodesian Army, a third of it was destroyed. We still bought weapons from Britain. But later they were all sanctioned and we couldn't fly them, couldn't get spare parts. So the hostility has come from the West, not from our president. You understand? So this campaign, insidious campaign against our president, it harks more to people who hanker for the past. They want a post-apartheid, neo-colonial, post-racist order in Zimbabwe. They want a caricature of a modern Zimbabwean state. That's what they want. Our president aspires for a rightful place for the Zimbabwean nation, where we are unfettered by encumbrances from the wishes of other nations. That's what our president stands for, nothing more. He is prepared to stretch his hand, like I gave you the 2 case studies, or the 3 case studies in the past, to embrace Zimbabwe. He's been part of those decisions to embrace the West, even when it was not fashionable by our other allies who may have been with us during the liberation struggle. But he says it is important. So we like it when the West starts moving from its position of unprovoked hostility to Zimbabwe. We have not provoked anybody. So we want the West to move to a situation where sanctions can be fully removed against our president. And American business people, who are some of the best in the world, can compete with the Chinese who are here, Indians who are here, Indonesians who are coming, Turkish who are coming. We just want the best business people to come to Zimbabwe. Because if the best business people come to Zimbabwe, they work with the most competent African labor force. There's no labor force as organized and structured and as competent and as disciplined as the Zimbabwean one on the African continent. And because it is educated, it has got this capability to turn capital into profit in the shortest possible time.